What was that whole experience like, playing in the playoffs, and what was the adrenaline like before a playoff game, the NLCS, before a World Series game? What's the adrenaline like before one of those games? What's going on, guys? Nathan Lombardi here with Lambo Media, and in this segment, I'm joined by yet another very special guest, Mickey Morandini. He's an MLB alumni. He played with the Philadelphia Phillies, as well as some other teams in his MLB career. He was a Gold Medalist winner in 1988. He made a World Series appearance with the Philadelphia Phillies in 1993, and was also an MLB All-Star in 1995. We'll get into some of that stuff a little bit later, but first and foremost, Mickey, I really appreciate you coming on for this interview. And what have you been up to in these past few months?
Well, obviously it's been tough for everybody with the virus going around, but
Yep.
They're finally starting to open up here in Pennsylvania. So I've been playing a lot of golf. I'm the Phillies team ambassador, so I'm starting to get some appearances going again out in the community now that things are opening up. But it's been slow, that's for sure.
Yeah. How's your golf swing looking?
It's getting better. I just really started to take up golf about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Thing is, I'm naturally left-handed, and I can golf ball left-handed, so I've taught myself to play right-handed, and we're getting there. It takes time, but I've dropped my score from probably around 110 down to the upper 80s, low 90s, so I'm getting there.
Okay, you're making improvements. That's all that matters. So obviously you retired back in 2000 from your playing career in the MLB. Do you still swing it a bit and field some ground balls here and there just for the enjoyment of it?
I really don't do too much anymore baseball-wise. I still play some basketball.
Okay.
Basketball is another sport that I love to play. I played the whole way through high school. And I'm, like I said, I golf a lot now, but I don't really I do a lot of camps and things, so I'll do some throwing and stuff there, but
Right.
I really haven't picked up a bat in a while. I'm 54 years old now, and things are starting to creak a little bit, and I've gone through 2 rotator cuff surgeries in my career, so the right shoulder's not feeling too good as well.
Okay, so let's turn it back all the way to 1988, where you went on to help Team USA to compete for a gold medal, where you went on to win a gold medal. What was that whole experience like, and especially knowing that you were representing a whole country?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I had a big decision to make my junior year. I got drafted by the Pirates, which was my hometown team I grew up watching. And I knew I had a chance to at least try out for the Olympic team. So I had to make the decision, do I want to go play with the Pirates and start my professional career, or go back to school for my senior year and try and make the Olympic team? And I couldn't pass up trying to make the Olympics. So I went back. I was fortunate enough to make the team. And as you said, we went on to win the gold medal. And I have the gold medal here at my residence here. And obviously it's very, very special, something that not too many people have, so I'm very proud of it.
Yeah, for sure. Most definitely. Congrats on that accomplishment. That's obviously a huge accomplishment of yours. And we're finally going to be able to see some Olympic baseball in 2021. We would have saw it here in 2020, but it unfortunately got pushed back due to the global pandemic going on. But that's besides the point. We haven't seen summer baseball in the Olympics since 2008. What were your thoughts on summer baseball in the Olympics not being played during that short amount of time?
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous that it was taken away from the Olympics, because there are so many countries that play baseball now that, I don't know if the issue is that you wouldn't have the best coming from every country because the pro players would not be able to play in it, and a lot of Japanese players and things like that. But to not have baseball and softball in the Olympics was really a travesty, and I'm really glad it's back. Hopefully it stays, but I see some of the sports that are in the Olympics, and I say, how can baseball not?
Yeah.
So it's really disappointing.
Right. And now let's turn it back to your season with the Phillies in 1993. Like I mentioned earlier, you guys were obviously NL champions. You had a solid season that year. But I'll get into that side of things a little bit later. I want to talk about your flow. What inspired you to let the flow just grow out and, just let the hair go?
I think a lot of it had to do with my teammates. Dalton had a long hair, and Inky and Mitch Williams and Kruk and all those guys had, the mullets working. And I think what really happened was I started hitting the ball really well and just let the hair keep going, and I didn't want to cut it. And it actually turned out to be what I thought was a pretty good look for me. I don't know if anybody else thought it, but it just worked, and I enjoyed the flow. I wish I could get it back now, but it's all gray. But I think it was the teammates that kind of, everybody on that team pretty much had the flow working, and they called us, we were really like a dirty group of ball players, because Lenny Dykstra was chewing, and half the team smoked, and all drinking beers and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
But, when we got on the field, we really put things out on the line. We played the game the right way, and we played to win every night. And I don't know if you really see that in the big leagues nowadays.
Yeah. Would you say the flow is more of a superstitious thing?
I think originally it was. Then it got to be where I was just comfortable with it. And I'll tell you a quick story. I had the flow working, and my wife was on me to get a haircut. Get a haircut. I'm like, I'm not getting a haircut. And finally, she was on me so hard, I said, fine, I'll get a haircut. So I got a haircut pretty short. And I went into like a 1 for 23 slump as soon as I got that haircut. And I told her, I said, I'm never getting a haircut like that again. So she never made me get one after that.
Yeah. Now let's talk a little bit about your performance in that season and the Phillies' performance as a whole. You guys obviously advanced all the way to the World Series, won the NL Championship, like I mentioned several times earlier. What was that whole experience like, playing in the playoffs, and what was the adrenaline like before a playoff game, the NLCS, before a World Series game? What's the adrenaline like before one of those games?
Yeah, I always got a little bit nervous before games, and I always thought that was a good thing. It had that energy.
Right.
It compared nothing to the energy and the nervousness of a playoff game in a World Series. I mean, we were really just hyped up, and the fact that there were 50,000 screaming Philly fans at Vet Stadium for the playoffs was unbelievable. And I don't know how guys are playing today with no fans in the ballparks. That's got to be really hard, but. It was so exciting and thrilling, and every out was so important, and every runner and every strike, it was just everything was intensified in the playoffs. And we beat an Atlanta team that was probably a lot better than us, but we came away with a victory in that series. And then the Blue Jay team was just off the charts, especially their offense. I mean, from 1 through 9, they have like 4 Hall of Famers and probably 3 or 4 other guys that had a chance to get in. So it was just a really good team. And for us to take it 6 games, and really should have taken it 7 games, it was pretty incredible feat for our team.
If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys go check out Lefty Swag bats. I promise it'll be super beneficial to all of you. The link to both their Instagram as well as their online shop will be in the description box below. They have amazing products such as baseball bats to improve your bat speed as well as your visual skills. Not only that, but they also have a ton of dope apparel, including these dope hats, as well as some other miscellaneous baseball accessories to improve your game. Once again, that's Lefty Swag Bats. The link to both their Instagram as well as their online shop will be in the description box below. Point of the playoffs in '93, did you really tell yourself, okay, let's set the pressure and nervousness aside. It's time to get to work. We obviously got here for a reason. Now let's compete for a World Series title.
We had a great leader in Darren Dalton. He's one of the best clubhouse leaders that I've ever been around, and he kept us calm. And but as soon as that first pitch takes place, everything settles in, and you just go play the game. It's just all the build up and all the waiting around till the game starts. That's the nerve-wracking and the emotional part. But like I said, as soon as you see that first pitch from the pitcher, or you get that first ground ball and you make it out, then everything just kind of settles in, and it's another ball game.
Yeah. Now let's transition into talking about your 1995 season. Your dominance led you to making an All-Star appearance that year. What was that whole experience like, playing in an All-Star game and, interacting with those players at that All-Star game and interacting with the top-notch players in the league?
It was amazing. It really was. The All-Star game that year was in Texas. I will say it was hot as heck. It was about 120 degrees on that field. I mean, we were sweating our butts off. But, to be on the same field as with Biggio and Bagwell, Bonds and Bonilla and all these Hall of Famers that were on the field, It was truly just a lot of fun. I was just happy to be there, obviously. That World Series was really a unique one because we only had 3 hits the entire game, and they were all 3 solo home runs, and we ended up winning 3-2. So it was a lot of fun. It was great to be a part of.
Yeah, and your MLB career ended in 2000, but you still went on to coach for the Phillies in 2015, and then you went on to coach for a few seasons with the Phillies. What was that whole experience like, and did you enjoy kind of getting a new perspective and seeing it from the coach's standpoint?
I did. I always wanted to get back into coaching. When I retired, my 3 boys were really young, so I took some time off. Watch them grow up, coach them in all their little leagues and travel ball and basketball and all that stuff. And then as they got older, I really wanted to get back in it. And Ruben Amaro, who was the Phillies GM at the time, called me and said, hey, if you ever want to get back into coaching, we have an open spot in Williamsport to be a manager. That was our low rookie ball. And I said, I think I'm ready. So they interviewed me. I got the job, and I coached in the minors for 5 years. And then, as you said, 2 years in the big leagues coaching first base. And I really enjoyed it. I think the best part about it was watching our prospects get better and knowing that I had a little bit of something to do with that. The Maikel Francos at the time and the Aaron Altairs. And I got to coach Aaron Nola a little bit, who's in the big leagues now, Dylan, and some of those guys. So that's the fun part, is seeing these guys get better. The only bad part about it was our minor league system at the time was one of the worst in baseball, and we were losing all the time. So it's never fun when you're losing ball games in the minor leagues, but it was fun coaching. I really enjoyed it.
Right. What would you say maybe changed the most in the game of baseball and professionally in particular from the point of you playing and then into 2015 and for the couple of seasons that you coached first base?
Yeah, the game has changed dramatically since analytics obviously has really taken over.
Yeah.
Replay has taken over. You're not stealing or bunting or hit and running anymore. It's all about hitting the long ball. Nobody cares if they strike out anymore. Back when I played, I was embarrassed to strike out. So there's a lot of things that have really changed in the game. I don't know if it's all for the better or not. I'm not a big fan of today's game. I don't think it's quite as exciting as it used to be, just because it's either a home run, a walk, or a strikeout, and I don't think that's baseball. I really enjoyed the triples and the stolen bases and the hit and runs and taking the second baseman out, which you can't do now, and collisions at home plate, which you can't do now. And I get it. I understand we're concerned about the safety of the players, but that to me is baseball.
Yeah, speaking about change in the game of baseball, there's been a little bit of conversation about possibly implementing electronic umpires in the future. What are your thoughts on that whole conversation?
Yeah, I hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
We're starting to use electronics for on-the-field stuff like that. It's really going to take away from the game. No, I'm not saying umpires are obviously they're not correct all the time, and the home plate strike zone is different for every umpire, but that's baseball. It's a human game, and that was for me, like, striking out and arguing with the umpire. That was part of baseball, and now you can't do any of that. You can't argue with the umpire. You can't argue balls and strikes. You can't argue close plays because of replay. So part of the fun as a fan was watching the manager come out and go, face with an umpire, throw a base, throw a bat. That was fun for fans, but I hope it doesn't go to electronic. That's too much for me. It's just too much.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to change the game too much, and if an umpire makes a mistake, it's going to happen. That's the game of baseball. That's how it's been this whole time, and people are saying it's going downhill. Baseball's going downhill, and that's because of what you just mentioned. It's the drama. It's the entertainment that people have enjoyed in the past, with the manager coming out, like you said, and arguing maybe a call on the field or like an altercation with 2 players. It's that drama that people are missing. So that's my whole thing on that. But to wrap it up, what would you say is maybe your most memorable moment in your whole career of playing baseball, and maybe a specific game that you maybe had the most fun playing in?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. One was my unassisted triple play that I did in '92. At the time, I was the 9th player to ever do it. There's only been 15 overall. and I was the first second baseman to do it in the regular season. So obviously that was pretty cool. The other one would have been Game 6 against the Braves in the NLCS in '93. My first at bat, I hit a line drive off of Greg Maddox's shin. I think I get him pretty good, and I think it bothered him for most of the game. And then I hit a triple down the right field line in the 6th inning to kind of put the game away. I think it was 4-1 at the time. My triple made 6-1, and we went on to the World Series. So I think that play and then that game are probably two of the biggest of my career.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, Mickey, I really appreciate you taking the time to make this interview happen. Congrats on the incredible career, the coaching, and there's definitely more memories to come of being a Phillies ambassador. You're doing a great job with that, and stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, buddy. You too, and nice job tonight. That was awesome.
Thank you, Mickey.
All right, take care.
You too.